Marquez. I'm calling to order this hearing. This is a public hearing, a roundtable, technically a roundtable of the Committee of the Whole of the Council of the District of Columbia. I'm Phil Mendelson, Chair of the Council and Chair of the Committee of the Whole. Today is Wednesday, December 20th, 2023. The time is 2:15 in the afternoon. And this hearing is being conducted in person in the Council Chambers, room 500 of the Johnny Wilson Building. The subject of today's hearing is consideration of three appointments by the council. First is PR 25-507, District of Columbia Sentencing Commission Joel Caston, Appointment Resolution of 2023, PR 25-542, Ombudsperson for Children Patrina Jones-Jez, Appointment Resolution of 2023, and PR 25-543, District of Columbia Judicial Nomination Commission Marie Johns Reappointment Resolution of 2023. Of those three, actually, we'll be considering two today, and then I will recess today's hearing to continue with Marie Johns Reappointment Resolution tomorrow at 2 o'clock in room 412 of the Johnny Wilson Building. So today we will be considering, I'm going to give a little more detail here, PR 25-507, which is to appoint Mr. Joel Caston to the District of Columbia Sentencing Commission. This resolution was introduced in October. The council established the District of Columbia Sentencing Commission to review and analyze pertinent sentencing data, policies, and practices in the District of Columbia, to submit an annual report to the council summarizing the commission's activities and including further recommendations as appropriate, and to review and research sentencing policies and practices locally and nationally, and to make recommendations to the council that increase the fairness and effectiveness of criminal sentencing policies and practices in the District of Columbia. The stated purpose of PR 25-542 is to appoint Ms. Patrina Jones-Jez as the Ombudsperson for Children. This resolution was introduced in November. The council established the Office of the Ombudsperson for Children as an independent, impartial office tasked with improving outcomes for children previously involved with, or otherwise known to the Child and Family Services Agency. By holding agencies accountable for fulfilling their responsibilities under the law and working collaboratively across systems that impact CFSA children to foster improved outcomes and strengthen service delivery. As I said, the position is Ombudsperson. I'm not going to read about Marie Johns because she will be, as I said, we will recess today and continue the hearing tomorrow. The record in this matter will close at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024. It's a little hard to believe that we're almost at 2024. So the record will be open for roughly 2 weeks. So we have two nominees. There are no other witnesses who signed up. So if Ms. Jones-Jez would come forward, Mr. Caston would come forward, have a seat at the table. I have to pause for a moment. We're having an audio-visual problem. We're having some challenges with the audio visual, and my view is to continue with this roundtable. We're trying to record it. And so usually we video the cable television, it records our hearings. That may not happen today, but we're going to continue. So I will repeat for the record that this roundtable was called to order at 2:15, and the three measures, one of which will be recessed for tomorrow, is 25-507 to appoint Joel Caston to the District of Columbia Sentencing Commission, and PR 25-542 to appoint Patrina Jones-Jez as Ombudsperson for Children. And as I said, we'll recess for the third resolution till tomorrow. So why don't we begin, Ms. Jones-Jez, if you would present, you have a statement. Yeah, you hit the button for the,
Okay,
yeah, the AV is working fine in the room. It's just that we're not recording the way we usually do.
I see. Okay. Good afternoon, Chairman Mendelson and members of the council and staff. My name is Patrina Jones-Jez, and I'm the acting ombudsperson for the Office of the Ombudsperson for Children, which I will also refer to as the OFC or the office. I am a resident of Ward 2, and I'm honored to have served in this office since December 5th, 2022. Thank you for the opportunity to be considered for the ombudsperson position for the Office of the Ombudsperson for Children. I'm excited about this opportunity and looking forward to continuing the work of this office. The enabling legislation for the OFC passed in 2020 and was later amended and made effective as DC Law 23270 on April 5th, 2021. Legislatively establishing the office as an independent, impartial agency responsible to the council for helping to improve outcomes for CFSA children by holding CFSA and other child and family serving agencies accountable for their responsibilities under the law. The Office of the Ombudsperson for Children is committed to carrying out its mission to work collaboratively across systems that impact CFSA children to foster improved outcomes, strengthen service delivery, and increase accountability. My tenure with the office began on December 5th, 2022 as the Chief Deputy Ombudsperson. On March 13th, 2023, the Ombudsperson's role became vacant and I became the acting Ombudsperson. Prior to joining the OFC, I worked for the state of Tennessee in various roles in the areas of child welfare and social services. As an employee of the Tennessee Department of Children's Services, I provided leadership for several programs and initiatives such as policy and procedures development and distribution, data analysis, federal reporting, and continuous quality improvement. I also served in oversight roles impacting the department's initiative to exit a federal lawsuit and efforts to meet the established standards to become an accredited public child welfare agency. As an employee of the Department of Human Services, I had leadership responsibilities for eligibility programs and performance improvement. I have been able to use my professional experience to provide direction to the work of OFC. I'm very proud to report that since becoming the acting ombudsperson, the work of establishing a new agency has continued, and I have also initiated improvement efforts. There are many examples to share. I've led the continued enhancement of the office's database, creating a sophisticated system for tracking constituent complaints and other information. Administrative procedures for entering complaints received in person, by phone, and email into the database were created and went into effect on May 4th of this year. I have also hired 2 additional employees, established with the title Ombuds Analyst in July 2023. Their roles support the work mission of the office by providing frontline service and communication to constituents and conducting investigations under the direction of the Deputy CFSA Ombudsperson and the Acting Ombudsperson. In September 2023, I attended the USOA, United States Ombudsmen's Association's pre-conference training called the New Ombudsman Training and the General Conference in Atlanta, Georgia. Per enabling legislation, the ombudsperson is required to complete this training in preparation for the ombudsperson's role. Collaboration and outreach with government agencies and external organizations has continued under my leadership. Since becoming the acting ombudsperson, I have initiated contact with various agencies in the district to provide information about the mission and purpose of the office, and to establish partnerships with other agencies that serve children and families. The monthly meetings established by the Ombudsperson with the Child and Family Services Agency, CFSA, leadership have continued. These meetings provide an opportunity for the OFC to inform and request clarification on received complaints, address practice and systemic issues, and acknowledge positive case actions to improve the child welfare system. Much of the work described so far will continue and be maintained for the ongoing success of the office. Future goals will include using data intentionally in our work, hiring individuals to vacant positions in the office, and continuing to engage the community in the purpose and role of the OFC. I am elated with the prospects for the Office of the Ombudsperson for Children and our overall goal to serve children and families of the district. I appreciate the people who have reached out to the OFC so far, providing valuable information about individual experiences with the child welfare system. Again, thank you for considering me for the Ombudsperson's role. I'm looking forward to leading the office's ongoing core work, which is to assist with improving outcomes for children and families by serving and engaging the community and holding agencies that serve children currently and previously involved with CFSA accountable based on legal and policy mandates. And I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Mr. Caston. See.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman Mendelson and all in attendance. I am honored to stand before you today. As a native Washingtonian who has been directly impacted by the criminal legal system, I am humbled to take on the critical responsibility that this position entails. The DC Sentencing Commission plays an integral role in determining sentencing policies that impact the lives of district residents and shape our justice system. I take this duty incredibly seriously and will bring my diverse background and experiences into inform thoughtful, ethical decisions on complex sentencing issues facing our city. I step into this position keenly aware of that responsibility and with an open mind to forging consensus. I ask of you for your confidence and support. I look forward to contributing to judicious citizen guidance that promotes justice, compassion, and the betterment of all people in the Washington, D.C. If confirmed, I will be a fierce advocate for sentences that balance accountability, public well-being, and human dignity. Thank you for welcoming me to this commission. I take this duty seriously and will pursue it earnestly for our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Give me just a second. I want to thank each of you. I don't think I made this clear at the beginning of the hearing or roundtable. These are council appointments. So typically the council considers nominations by the mayor. We confirm. You all are different. We're actually making these appointments. And so it's just a slightly different different perspective. And I want to thank each of you for your willingness to serve. And Ms. Jones-Ches, you've been serving in an acting capacity, so you know exactly what you're getting into. I always ask this question of nominees, and that is, do you have the time to serve? I'm assuming you do, since you've been serving, but do you have the time to serve?
Yes, I do.
And Mr. Caston?
Yes, I do.
I also ask these questions. I've sent pre-hearing questions, but I ask this anyway. Are you current in your taxes and any liabilities to the district government or the federal government?
We recently learned that there were some taxes owed, and so we have entered into an approved payment plan, but we are current with that payment plan.
Excellent. Mr. Caston?
Yes, I am correct.
And I also ask conflicts of interest. I don't think there are any, but I ask anyway. Have there been, since you, Ms. Jones-Ches, have been serving, are there conflicts of interest that come up? I would
No,
think
not so far, no.
Okay,
No
and Mr.
conflicts.
Caston, do you think there might be any? I don't think so, but.
No, it would be no conflict.
And if there were, you would disclose it, and if advised, you would recuse yourself.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Now you've been involved with the criminal justice system, but you also have been most recently an elected ANC commissioner. Am I remembering that correctly?
That is correct.
So you've had quite a bit of civic activism,
Yes, I have.
which is good,
Yes.
which is good. I'm pretty sure I had this in the pre-hearing questions, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How do you hope to contribute with the sentencing commission?
How do I hope to contribute?
Yeah.
In a fair and just manner.
And at this point, even though you haven't been on the commission yet, do you see any challenges? And if so, what they would be?
I do not.
Challenges that the commission has to deal with?
No, I do not. I applaud the council for allowing an individual that has a diverse background such as myself to be a part of something that's very important for all Washington.
Well, not only am I fine with that, and I'm going to want to put your name in for nomination, but the commission asked that there be somebody who's had experience with the system. So this is something they very much want.
Yes.
Ms. Jones, what challenges do you see?
So as we are continuing to stand up the office, there are still operational sorts of needs for the office that we will continue to pursue to make sure that we can do all the things that we need to do. Right now, our biggest, I would say, challenge is to become fully staffed. So that is going to be a focus for the upcoming year. I would also say that getting out into the communities, I wouldn't call it a challenge, so to speak, but it's definitely something that will take effort. It's making sure that we continue to let the community know that we exist and that we're here to serve, especially if they have concerns about the child welfare system. So that will be a focus for us.
And you've been getting complaints, and that doesn't
should-
mean you've been getting complaints about your office, rather you've been getting complaints about CFSA that you've been dealing with.
Yes.
Are a lot of complaints? Are you surprised? Are they growing? Not enough because people don't know? How would you characterize them?
I wouldn't say that we are receiving complaints. We started receiving complaints in February of 2023. That's when our online system, and our database and our online form was launched. And then CFSA, they moved their ombuds responsibilities to us. So they kind of relinquished their ombuds responsibility at that time. So since then, we have been getting complaints. We received the majority of our complaints because we've been kind of looking at the data. We received the majority from biological parents, particularly mothers. So that was somewhat surprising, not knowing that that would be a population that would be reaching out to us more frequently than others. I think we need to focus more on getting the word out to youth that we'd like to hear from them and their experiences directly. So I think that kind of goes back to the challenge question, but that is something that we will be doing as well going forward.
Hearing complaints from mothers, well, you were in Tennessee, was it different there?
So my role was different.
So you would not have seen it.
Right. So yes, so my role was very different. So in terms of that particular, having firsthand knowledge of that particular data point, I would not have had that in Tennessee.
Now you mentioned in your testimony, actually, I want to ask this first. You made a reference, CFSA, they had a ombudsman office and they discontinued it.
That's correct.
So that means that it may not be the best way to go about it, but they have embraced your existence.
Yes, I would say so. We meet with CFSA on a regular basis, at least twice a month. And then, of course, and this is with the leadership team in the agency, we have regular access to others that work for CFSA if we want more information about certain actions that the agency has taken. But yes, I would say our relationship with CFSA is positive and definitely a partnership.
when the office was first set up, I got the sense that the executive side of the government was not very helpful with various requirements for setting up a new agency. Your testimony alludes to effort to establish a new agency. Are you getting the cooperation now?
I think initially, the people we were interacting with did not know who we were, did not understand that we existed and that we were covered under legislation. And then once they understood that we were a new agency, it took time to set our agency up within their systems so that their systems would recognize our existence. So there are a lot of layers apparently when you have a new agency to get established within the district government. But we are getting, I would say, much more support and cooperation from organizations that have information and services that we would like to have access to.
So at this point, the work to establish is going fairly well.
Yes, I would say very well.
Mr. Caston, it may be too early to ask since you haven't been on the Sentencing Commission, but do you have a sense of whether the guidelines we have are pretty much okay or some issues, significant issues that stand out?
So as you are aware, due to the fact that I've served 27 consecutive years of incarceration, during that time, I studied the sentencing guidelines religiously. I have a strong hand in the fact on what the codes look like. I know one time we were rewriting the codes. Some of the things that I saw that jumps out to me is a disparity in sentencing across the within our guidelines, which I was more so very thankful that we were moving along the line to rewrite them to become more current to how laws are being applied across the board in other jurisdictions. I know that we need to get more so to that point right there. That's something that stands out to me, that jumps out to me immediately. The antiquated laws that are currently exist within our sentencing scheme.
So some of that sounds like that deals with the criminal code itself.
Yes.
Which I agree needs to be updated, modernized, made more consistent, revised. And as you know, we ran into some flack on that because it very easily got misstated and then a lot of opposition. Give me just a second here. Part of the purpose of the hearing is to also ensure that there isn't some community upset with these appointments that I'm unaware of. And since it's just the few of us in the chamber, that tells me that folks are just fine with these appointments. So I don't have any other questions for you. What we're going to, as I said at the beginning, the record will be open for 2 weeks. I have to remember I'm recessing this hearing, or roundtable. The record will close on Wednesday, January 3rd. I'm not asking you all to submit anything else because you don't need to, but if you want to, you're welcome to. If anybody else wants to submit anything for the record, 2 weeks to do so. And then we're going to try to take these up before the full council on January 9th. So assuming that everything goes as planned, you all will be official in a couple of weeks. I want to thank you for your interest and willingness to serve. With that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to recess this roundtable. It's 2:40 p.m. and we are recessed until 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon in room 412, where we will hear testimony regarding the reappointment of Marie Johns.